Welcome back to Ralph's Rotten Rust. I appreciate your time. Thanks for stopping by. Wanted to show an update on this steering column out of this 68 F250. I got the parts ordered and the parts came in, and when time would allow, I started taking this apart, which was a treat. If you've never had one apart, don't be scared of it. Just pay attention to how things come apart. Not overly difficult. When you take it apart, you could see or not. Sorry, the lighting. Let me turn this around. That's better. I'm trying to hold a cell phone while we're doing this, so that makes it kind of fun. Anyway, bolt here, and there's a slot on this tube that comes up, and those bolts have to engage in that slot. When you tighten the nuts down, it pulls all this assembly together. And all this really is there's a tube, a piece of conduit, if you want to think of it, hollow conduit that runs down. That conduit has a tab welded on it that engages the arm down here that goes to the transmission. The conduit comes up through the center, and there's a slot in this collar, and that tube has a tab on it. If you go look around YouTube, there's some pretty good videos on how it comes apart and goes together. That's why I didn't make a quote-unquote assembly video or putting it back together. I was kind of surprised when I bought the collar. I just assumed, because this is still a cast aluminum piece, I believe it's could be die cast, but I believe it's a poured. And they didn't put the pointer on it. They didn't make that as part of the casting, which I don't really understand why they didn't. So what I did was, you can get it's a clear plastic that snaps into the inside of the collar. I didn't catch it in the catalog. I didn't order it. And to be honest, I'm trying to keep the cost down on this, so I didn't buy it. Didn't want to pay for it. Didn't want to pay for the shipping. So what I did was I took the old one that was on this junk collar, cut it off, cleaned the backside of it up, sanded it down smooth so it would fit with the contour of the collar, and a little bit of JB weld. We'll see how long it lasts. It seems like it's pretty tight, like it's not going to pop off. I did a good job of cleaning, or tried to do a good job of cleaning this and then roughing it up a little bit behind that. Is it show worthy? No, but neither's the truck, so it'll be fine. It shifts way better than it did. You had to get the truck to go into gear, had to do a bunch of maneuvering here on the shifter, or the shift arm. I guess that'd be the shifter in this case, wouldn't it? Yeah. And then to get it to go to start, you had to pull up on it, because this is the neutral safety that screws onto the side of that tube. And then there is a little stamped steel arm that clips onto the tube inside, that goes from the top down to the bottom. And then when you pull the shifter up and it's in park, it pushes a switch over so you can start the truck. And I don't know if it was out of adjustment or just because of that wasn't coming in, because of how much movement this had in it. It wouldn't allow it to close the switch and allow you to start the truck. So anyway, I used a lot of the same, the boot's in really good shape. I mean, it's inside the truck predominantly, and around on the outside here, it has another piece. It's currently drying. Got painted. This is the I guess you call it a bracket that's actually stapled to this, but I just pulled the staple out, sandblasted this, and painted it. Try to slow the rust down. Again, we're not making a show truck. If the paint looks fresh, it's because this was a almond color. The actual interior color of the truck is more of it's a beige. It's darker. I found a can of Rust-Oleum. You can kind of see the difference here between the two colors. This matches closer. Doesn't matter. No. Is it a show truck? No. But the OCD comes out. So if you're going to buy the paint, why not buy something that's kind of close? So that's what it is. Really disappointed in myself. Do I have it laying here? Yes, I do. Had the OG 1968 clear plastic indicator that goes in front of that pointer. And when I had it apart, what did I do? I hooked the shift arm, pulled it off, knocked it on the floor, and basically destroyed that, knocked the ears off the bottom and the end of it. And yeah, I know it's a little janky, but I'm probably going to clean the end of that off and see if I can epoxy it in there. Keeping in mind, we're not making a show truck, and I'm too cheap to buy this too for right now. I didn't really find anything. These things are pricey. They're spendy for what they are. And so we're just going to see if we can cobble it back together and repaint the letters and call it good. Got to keep in perspective of what you're making it for. So that's where we're at right now. I'm going to put some paint on this, and we'll go from there. I'll have should have another video here. I'm going to show it when I get it back in the truck, and we'll go from there as far as what I'm going to do next. I think next on the truck will be putting the fuel tank back in it. I redid. Well, here, let me hang on just a second. I'll walk you over there. Here's something else. I walked by it and I saw it and I thought, oh, maybe I could show that. This is the original rag joint, steering coupling, whatever you want to call it. As you can tell, the canvas in there is she's pretty rotten. I'm sure that's the original 68. I bought an aftermarket, and we'll see. It smells like China. So I took the fuel tank out of the truck, and I knew she was pretty rusty, but I didn't know how bad it was. They had put a new fuel tank in it, and the brackets were shot. The whole bottom of them this is all rusted out. So I took some 16 gauge. This is basically what I measured it to be, the thickness of it. Again, trying to keep the money out of it. And I actually enjoy doing this kind of stuff, fixing and repairing. That's the enjoyment for me. So we did that, tagged it back together, and I think it'll be just fine. All it does is holds the bottom of the fuel tank. There's a lip. I'll walk you over there. There's the fuel tank. After they put it in, when I bought it, it came with the truck. And why did I walk over here? I'm not entirely sure. Why did I come over here? I don't know. I guess to show the bottom of the fuel tank. But anyway, like I showed earlier, the brackets go on the bottom down here. Move my light around. This is actually for the cab mount. There's some bolts. Let me see if I can find you a bolt. There's a bolt. The bolt drops down through the bushing, holds the bracket captive, and of course it won't move. And all that does supports the bottom of the fuel tank. The fuel tank lip sits down in that. And then there's 3 bolt holes. And then we have some insulator back here on the firewall, or the back of the cab, keep it from banging or making noise. So these were, like I said, these were pretty rough. The whole end of this was basically gone. When I took the tank out, the one on that side the tank wasn't even setting in the, well, it was setting in it, but there was nothing holding it. It had been bent down. There's insulators on the bottom, keep the tank from rattling. So we'll get that. I'm going to try to clean this cab up here in the back. We're not making a show truck. Knock the heavy rust off, get the wire brush on it, blow some primer and paint on it, and bolt this back down. Go from there. She's a mess, kids. She's a mess. But we're just going to, I don't know how far I'm going to go with it yet. I haven't decided where I'm going to stop and what we're going to do. So anyway, I appreciate you watching. Sorry, I'm kind of rambling now. Still kind of new to the, well, not kind of, I am new to the YouTube, making the YouTube video game. I appreciate you, really appreciate you liking. And if you're not a subscriber, I would appreciate if you would do that. That would help me out a lot. Give me some more motivation to keep making these.